The government looking into your history, your social media history, the things that you look up, and just personal things online related to your phone. I don't know about all that, but when you sit down and think about it, if you're coming from a different country, who knows? This could be the move. This could be the play. What's going on, you guys? It's your host, Bruce GNT, and we're here to talk about the U.S. is trying to implement something new to where people that come from certain countries and whatnot have to kind of surrender their social media information or just their data online, right? To, I guess, the airport or the government, and they go through it for the past 5 years. We're going to jump into it, all right? Because it's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit weird.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection is proposing more vetting for international visitors.
They might have to undergo social media scrutiny dating back 5 years. KTLA's Omar Lewis at LAX with the details. Omar, good morning.
Good morning, Frank and Jess. Yeah, we are live at the Tom Bradley International Terminal here at LAX, one of the main gateways into Southern California for many international travelers. But under this new proposal, many of the travelers you see here behind us would have to share far more of their digital lives before they ever get to this check-in line or baggage claim. Before international visitors snap those selfies in Hollywood, the U.S. may soon be scrolling through their feeds first. Under this draft rule, U.S. Customs and Border Protection would make it mandatory for travelers from 42 visa waiver countries, including Britain, France, Germany, and South Korea, to list 5 years of social media history as part of their online application for ESTA. That's the Electronic System for Travel Authorization, allowing most tourists to get permission to visit the U.S. without a traditional visa. Right now, visitors using ESTA pay a $40 fee and give basic contact details. Authorization is usually valid for 2 years. Under the new proposal, U.S. Customs would phase in the extra questions after a 60-day public comment period and a separate review by the White House Budget Office, potentially rolling out the changes in stages over the following weeks and months. CBP says it's acting under a 2025 executive order aimed at protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security public safety threats, and say the rule change will help officers spot red flags like ties to violent extremism, fraud, or past threats of violence before someone ever boards a plane to the U.S. The rule comes as the State Department is already expanding online presence checks for long-term H-1B visas starting on December 15th. Travel industry groups warn the move could mean longer waits for approval and more travelers flagged for extra screening, especially ahead of major events like the 2026 World Cup. While
I'm not fully against this. It's a little bit weird, and it does feel like, similar to what the UK does, to where, if you said some stuff in another country, you come to the UK, they could arrest you and or kind of, detain you a little bit. The reason I say that is because there have been cases of comedians in particular, right, making certain jokes, and the way the UK is handling this shit over there when it comes to social media, you can't say certain things without people getting a little butthurt, and then the government say, hey, look, you can't say that. You know what I'm saying? It kind of borders along the line of that. Not necessarily, but it kind of gives me a little wigged out feeling, personally. But I understand the concept. I understand the reason why they're doing it. Makes sense from the stance of, making sure that we're protecting ourselves from foreign-born terrorists. But a lot of the cases, you'd be surprised. Natural-born terrorists. That's a whole nother conversation. Just like what he said at the last part, right, where it comes to longer wait times, how would they go about that? And then not only that, how would they go through scrubbing through your social media? Because is it done in a process? You list down your social media accounts, and then you list down the usernames, and then you have to give it to them, they look it through? Or is it a situation where they somehow gain access to your phone? You're what I'm saying? That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that rolls out and how it plays out, because obviously when things come out for the first time, nothing is ever going to just be oh yeah, we're just streamlining, we're understanding exactly how this is going to work. No, never comes out like that. There's always going to be issues. Also, little tidbit, if you think that companies aren't doing this when it comes to researching who you are, when it comes to you applying for a job and everything like that, you're surely mistaken. They do. They look up your social media. They look up to see what type of person you are, because they want to make sure that you're a right fit for the company. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because I've been looking at a lot of videos of people talking about, getting hired for jobs and everything like that. And a lot of people don't realize that they look up your social media. They can find that. So if you're saying things that you probably shouldn't be saying, or you're just out here being wild, which some people are, we see people lose their jobs through TikTok, they will see that. Companies see that. So be careful.
Liberties advocates say blanket social media surveillance risks chilling speech and sweeping in huge amounts of data about innocent people and their contacts. Here's what one traveler here at LAX had to say about the proposed change here this morning.
I guess with everything going on, I would agree. It's much safer. Yes, it is an invasion of privacy, but this is the world we live in now. So we have to, we have to be safe. It's better to be safe than to be sorry.
You okay with people checking your social
media? Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'll open it up myself and show it to them. I got no problem with that.
For now, nothing changes for travelers already holding valid visa approvals. They can still use them until they expire. Back out here live this morning, CBP will be taking public comments on the plan for the next 60 days before deciding whether to move forward, amend it, or pull it back altogether. We will be following this developing story for you, but that is the latest for now here live at LAX. I'm Omar Lewis.
I wonder if they actually take into consideration like those comments and everything like that, if they legitimately care, because sometimes I feel like they don't. I don't necessarily think this is going to be for all, like, people that come in with visas. I think it's just through certain programs and everything like that. So it's not going to be a situation where, you're someone that's just coming to the U.S. for a vacation and whatnot. They're going to look through your social media. That's not what it seemed like this is going on here. So I can get behind it. Yet again, it does feel it is an invasion of privacy. I'm all about privacy. I'm all about me being able to do what I want to do, how I want to do it, because I'm not out here doing things I'm not supposed to be doing. So for someone to just look through my shit, to me is like, why? You might see some shit you don't want to see. But I can get behind it. Obviously, there's gonna be kinks that need to work out. There's gonna be things that they need to make sure. There's gonna be things that are going to be, they're gonna be problems when it first comes through and everything like that. And if it goes through, you know what I'm saying? There's always problems when things have their first inception. We have to be understanding of that. We have to realize that things are never just gonna be straight up working off rip. So I can get behind it. Like I said, I'm a person where I pay attention to slippery slopes. I pay attention to, the whispers in the wind, where it's just like, okay, is this something else? Is this like a precursor for something else coming down the pipeline, where it's just like, okay, hey, we're doing this for, certain visa recipients and everything like that. Oh, we might just do it for everybody because we're realizing this is like a really good program. Okay, well, you know what? Hey, American citizens, if you come from a certain country and you've been there for too long, and or you coming from a different state, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want things to get out of hand. Not saying it will, but things have a funny way of working out. Well, you guys already know, Drew. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you feel like this is something that is needed, especially in this day and age, with how things are, where, the world's always been dangerous, but it always feels like every day is getting worse and worse. So let me know down in the comments below. And also, do you feel like this is going to turn into something worse later on down the line? Because maybe it's just paranoid, but sometimes that's where my mind goes. Let me know that as well in the comments down below. That's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.